It mostly comes down to our pace of innovation. Our pace of innovation is much, much faster than the big aerospace companies or the sort of country-driven systems. And this is generally true. If you look at innovation from large companies or from smaller companies are generally better at innovating than larger companies. And it has to be that way from a Darwinian standpoint, because smaller companies would just die if they didn't try innovating. Because otherwise people just keep buying the product from the big company.
So you started with a rocket.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard one, and it's the probability of success was low. In fact, when I started SpaceX, I thought that the most likely outcome was failure. And I think to have any other expectation would have been irrational. You want to have a future where you're expecting things to be better, not one where you're expecting things to be worse. Mm-hmm. So that was how things started out. And then as I learned more, and I went to, speaking of crazy things, went to Russia 3 times to negotiate a deal to buy a couple of the largest ICBMs in the Russian fleet. A strange experience. And then I think it's also important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. So the normal way that we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. We're doing this because it's like something else that was done, mm-hmm. or it's like what other people are doing.
Me too type ideas.
Yeah, slight iterations take, on a theme, mm-hmm. and it's kind of mentally easier to reason by analogy rather than from first principles. But by first principles is kind of a physics way of looking at the world, and what that really means is you kind of boil things down to the most fundamental truths, and say, okay, what are we sure is true, or as sure as possible is true, and then reason up from there. Mm-hmm. That takes a lot more mental energy.
Give me an example of that. Like, what's one thing that you've done that on that you feel is
you need to work, depending upon how well you want to do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. Work hard, like, every waking hour. That's the thing I would say, particularly if you're starting a company. And I mean, if you do simple math, you say, like, okay, if somebody else is working 50 hours and you're working 100, you'll get twice as much done in the course of a year as the other company. For insulation, corrosion protection, airbags, road noise, like it's all the stuff that gets put in here. Yeah. You can see like these are like the side airbags here.
Oh, okay.
Like most people, I think it's like pretty cool. Like most people never see like the inside of the car.
Yeah, there's a million things you never see driving the car every day. Sure.
This is like, sorry guys, sorry to interrupt.
That's all right, man. You make me look.
If you don't mind being on the internet and stuff. Is that cool? All right.
YouTube's cool.
I actually don't interrupt your work, but it's like you see like how like there's like a lot of tricky pieces, and like if for a person like this is like doable,
straightforward.
Yeah, it takes a bit of training, get up to speed, but like once you like basically like a pro human can do this super well.